I'm a daily user of Soothe 2. I use it on vocals, bass, mix bus, everything. When Smooth Operator was released by Baby Audio, I was like, yeah, it's cool, but I don't think it's gonna do much that I can't already do with Soothe 2. But after a few of my engineer friends mentioned it, I figured I'd give it a try. And what I found was Smooth Operator is super intuitive and super easy to use. You can dial in on specific frequencies a lot easier and quicker than you can with Soothe 2. Now, I'm not saying you can't probably do the same thing with Soothe 2, but the speed and accuracy it gives you is really quite amazing. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I use Soothe 2, how I use Smooth Operator, and what I think the plugins work best on. Let's go. All right, guys, so here is Soothe 2. And here is Baby Audio's Smooth Operator, which I love the name of, by the way. Now, as you can see already, there's a lot more nodes or dots, whatever you want to call it, for different frequencies and for Soothe 2. You can dial them in a lot more. There's different bands you can select. It has sidechain, which I don't believe this one does. It has a mix, which I wish this one did. And this delta, where you can hear what it's actually doing. You can change the attack and release of the speed of it and the sharpness and selectivity, which basically just makes it, how tight it's going to be. Mid-side processing link, and one of the most important that I use a lot for this plugin in particular is the mix knob. Baby Audio is a bit more trimmed down. It has basically two different nodes that you can, use to either add more compression or spectral analysis, whatever they want to call it, or you can boost it and it'll be less there. As you pull this down, it will compress harder. As you push it up, it will do less. And we'll get into all this soon. And then you also have a low and a high pass, high shelf that you can use as well, and that can help interact with the whole thing. One of the really cool features of this Smooth Operator is the solo. When that's on, as soon as you go over this little dot here, or node, I'm calling them nodes, call them what you want, it will solo it out. So it's a really part of the intuitive part that I like about this is as soon as I go over this, it will solo it so I can kind of nail down which frequency I'm trying to get rid of. And to me, that's part of the reason I like Smooth Operator and might not, even though you can solo and Soothe 2, it's just you go here, you start sweeping for the frequency you're trying to get rid of, and then you bring it down. Very, very intuitive, very easy to use. And the reason now is I'm using both of these actually on my vocal chain. This first to get rid of specific frequencies I don't want, and this to kind of clean up everything after. Not this setting in particular. This is my mastering setting, but both of them together I found works really well for vocals, and we'll get into that too. So first and foremost, let me show you one example of why I would maybe use Soothe 2 or use this. The first one is when I'm mastering, or even just on my mix bus. When I'm mastering, sometimes there'll be S's that, even though I can't completely take them out because it's just on a mastering level, I want to just bring back certain frequencies that just aren't sounding good. Now, another plugin that I was going to mention with this video, but I didn't, is Gold Foss. That kind of does what this stuff does, but it's different because it's not so dialed in specific, so I didn't really add it. But I do use that sometimes for mastering as well, and that's cool for doing this kind of thing where it just takes out certain frequencies that are overpowering your mix. So let me show you on this track I got here what I'm doing with Soothe 2, and then we'll check out and see what we can do with Smooth Operator. So you can see what Soothe 2 is, it's taking out a lot of different parts of the song and pulling them back. And in particular, there's this woo woo in this beat. If you guys listen carefully, that would be one thing I would want to get rid of in a mastering situation, or at least tame somewhat. So Soothe 2 does a pretty good job of that. And if you listen, when I click Delta, which is just listening to what Soothe 2 is doing, you will hear that kind of sound that I'm talking about that we're trying to get rid of. Only comes certain parts, and it's just a little bit of annoying. So that's cool, that's what that does. Now let's turn off Soothe 2 and turn on Smooth Operator and see what we can use this for in a mastering situation. So right out the gate, I don't like that because it's taking my low end out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna shift it up so it's not compressing. Now you notice when I put my mouse over that, it went into solo. So now this is where this plugin is cool. That little doo-doo that I keep talking about, we can go in and find that and maybe just bring that section down. So let's check it out. So that helps pull it out a little more. It might be down there a little bit more, but you get the idea. And so maybe that might work better in this situation, only because it's just pulling that one part we're getting out as opposed to doing extras. Now, we could dial this in and bring it closer just to nail that one part. And that could work too. But look at the moves I had to make. I mean, obviously I could start off with less of these, but it was quicker just to dial it in there. Now, which one's better? We'd have to sit here and compare and really listen. Don't think you guys want to do that on a video, but that just shows kind of the difference between the two and how you can possibly use them. Let's move on to something else. And unfortunately in this beat, I don't have a dedicated bass part, but you can thank YouTube for that because I can't use any song I want anymore because they knocked my video. But this is my preset, my bass preset for Soothe 2. And what this does is when there's a bass instrument that is a little bit overpowering or there's certain notes popping out too much, this can help tame those down so it sits a little bit more in the mix without just completely compressing the bass. And what a lot of times happens when you just throw a compressor on a bass is it compresses the low end and you hear more top end, which is not necessarily always what you want. This actually specifically nails down to just the low end. And you'll see once I start this sample, which has the bass in it, you'll hear what it's doing and see it. So you see it's just compressing that bass, boo, 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 right? Now for this sample, we might not need to do that, but that's just showing you how I use Soothe 2. And it is amazing for doing just that, right? Now let's pull up Smooth Operator and see what we can do on that side. So once again, we can solo the band and go down here and see if we can get just those notes to pull down. So with Soothe, with Smooth Operator, it's a little bit harder just to get that very fine detail stuff. And to me, that's the difference between the two. This is a little more broad strokes, but you can get to it faster, where Soothe 2 can do a lot more detail work that this might not be able to. Now, lastly, before we get out of here, let's check out this vocal. And this is where I think Smooth Operator shines the most. Because of how fast you can dial it in, and it just sounds good right out the gate. Whereas Soothe 2, for me, is more of like a kind of overall cleaner upper, if you will, if that's even a word. This can I really dial in what I don't like. So don't go fooling me twice now, baby. So there's a little harshness in this, maybe 1K, 2K area, right? Let's see if we can dial that in. Don't go fooling me twice now, baby. I'm sorry, that's the way it is. You won't go fooling me twice now, baby. Don't go fooling me twice now, baby. I'm sorry, that's the way it is. Yeah. You won't go fooling me twice now, baby. So see how fast that was? We pulled that harshness out really fast. Now I'm overdoing it a bit. And even if you have a little bit of mud or something, right?
Don't go fooling me too, baby. I'm sorry, that's the way it is. Don't go fooling me too, baby. I'm sorry, that's the way it is.
And so there we cleaned it up. Now what's cool about this thing too is if, say we got a little bit too much.
Don't go fooling me twice now, baby.
If it's like pushing it too much, we can do that. And then if you want to just do light S's without maybe using a de-esser yet, we can pull down here.
Fooling me way it is, yeah. You won't go fooling me twice now, baby. I'm sorry, that's the way it is.
Another cool trick you can use with this for vocals, if you got a little of this too much buildup down here, is pull this one down too.
Baby. It is, yeah. You won't go fooling me twice now, baby. I'm sorry, that's the way it is, yeah. You won't go fooling me twice now, baby. I'm sorry, that's the way it is.
So that's pretty incredible how well it cleaned up that vocal. Maybe it's a little too thin now, but I mean, you get the idea. Really fast how fast we could do that. Now, let's do the same thing and bring out Soothe 2. I'm just going to drag it here just to make our lives easier. And I'll pull up my, oh, this isn't in here, my vocal user, Matty vocal. Okay, so here's my vocal preset that I usually start off with. And what it does is it's pulling down some mud and then pulling down some of the mid and sometimes high frequencies that we usually don't want in a vocal. So
don't go fooling me twice now, baby. I'm sorry, that's the way it is, yeah. You won't go fooling me twice now, baby. I'm sorry, that's the way it is. You won't go fooling me twice now, baby.
So that sounds good. It's doing a lot of what we did with Smooth, but let's hear the difference between these two. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing over here. And let me open up Smooth operator and just bypass them here.
Don't go fooling me twice now, baby.
All right, there's Smooth and then here's Soothe.
Don't go fooling me twice now, baby.
Now I get my mix here, but
don't go fooling me twice now, baby.
What I think I'm trying to show you guys is that the sound sculpting you can do with this one, I like a lot better for vocals in particular than I do Soothe. So, which is weird because, you know, like on the bass, Soothe 2 was a little bit more easier to sculpt, where Smooth didn't, you know, it was just too wide to really get those little fine notes we want. But for vocals, I think this is the ultimate champ as far as being able to really just fastly get rid of resonance that you don't want. So there you have it, guys. Soothe 2 versus Smooth operator. Hope you got something out of the video, just me showing you how you can use the two as opposed to just showing you how to use it. Let me know what you guys think. What are you using each plugin for in the comments below? If you need your song mixed and mastered, hit me up at mixandmastermysong.com. You can also check out my videos and presets there too. Talk to you soon.